anymore, right?
No, no, don't touch the
Okay, I
guns.
thought
Don't
so.
touch the
Thought
guns.
so.
We can
We'll
show
let that
them,
sit
but we
there.
can't
We can
touch
show
them.
them, but we can't.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can
All
you can
right.
show them, Joe. Don't
All right.
even think about touching it.
Touching them.
Same thing with you. Same thing with you, Richard. Don't even
All
think
right.
about it. Don't even think about it. All right, listen. So while we're waiting, we should be live here. While we're waiting for confirmation from everyone out there, I'm of course going to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com. That's our .com for Hank Strange. So crazy. And sign up for the email list. We've got lots of things there that you guys could find out how to support us, buy merch. We've got links to Ballistic Ink, or you could just go to Ballistic Ink. That's where you get the Gun Nerd shirt. Hold on, let me go here full frame. Boom, there goes the first Gun Nerd shirt.
Nice.
You guys can get those. Lola's got deals, all kinds of things that she throws up on there. So go to hankstrange.com. Best way to support us. We've got all kinds of different links there that you guys will enjoy. Let's see. I believe that's it. Let's see here. Let me get everyone up in the face here. I think we're feeding through to the people. Oh, you know what? The show's brought to us by Walther Arms. Shout out to the Walther folks out there. We appreciate those guys sponsoring the show, doing all the things they do. We appreciate all of you being here. Smash the thumbs ups right now. Share this if you can. We've got Joe from 13C Gun Reviews joining us. Joe's in the house. Obviously, he's been here, so it hasn't. The last time you were here, we could actually handle guns, Joe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could. It's been a couple months actually.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, last
Okay.
time we could, well, theoretically we could, but now, they put the kibosh on that.
Oh, that
so.
must have been at the end of last year then.
It was.
Probably.
I'm not
That's a
sure if
long
I've been
time.
on. If I've been on since I want to say December, maybe
Yeah, I remember
early
you got.
December, mid-December, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. I figured you were just really crazy busy. But we got you here now.
Yes.
We got,
He's
Glad
just
to be
trying
back.
to
we
avoid you.
got you. Yeah, I understand.
I'm doing my best to
God,
social
damn.
distance.
social.
Trying
Yeah,
to social
exactly.
distance.
Yeah, yeah. We've got
That's
Joe.
why I'm not going into the comment section tonight.
Oh boy,
I kid,
oh,
I
it's
kid,
totally
I kid.
safe. It's
I'll be
100% safe.
I'll be there.
We bleached it.
No, you might
We
catch
Lysoled
something
it down. We put good sunshine up in there. It's all good. It's safe. And of course, we've got Richard of BWE Firearms also joining us. What's up, Rich?
Not much, just working away.
All right, awesome.
Shit and aggravation.
Absolutely, I understand that. Understand that 100%. You guys know the routine here. We got to do the jazz hands. Come on. Let's see the jazz hands. Let's get it going. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is actually a really special episode for any gun guy out there. Joe, you came back on the right episode. It's 556. 556.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I chose a 5.56 gun.
We're celebrating, and to celebrate that, I actually have a round of 223, which is not 5.56, but I didn't have any actual 5.56 around here, so just pretend that this is a 5.56 round that you're looking at right now. Just use your imagination. Pretend that's what that is right there as we celebrate. Everyone out there, smash the thumbs ups for you have to represent and share episode 556 now.
Right?
I'm trying to see if there's a 5.56 under my bench somewhere in this mess.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I usually do have. I prefer. Where do you guys come down? Do you prefer 223 or 5.56? That should be the first question right here.
5.56 all day.
5.56 all day. Okay. Yeah, I'm with Joe. What about you, Richard?
Me, I've always referred it as the 223 because that's what it is. And just because the military wants to be stupid and change the name, let them.
I like the 5.56. I don't know. It just sounds bigger. Yeah, it just sounds better.
That sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely. What is everyone's favorite 5.56 out there? Let's see. I'll ask Richard first. What's your favorite 5.56? Do you even have a 5.56 gun? Or 223? I'll bend the rules. Don't handle anything.
I think I got most of an upper.
Oh boy.
223 upper that I can slap on my M16 if I wanted.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. This is a weird.
I've got a bolt gun 223.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. You need something 5.56. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Varmints don't care.
Yeah.
When you blow up a groundhog, they don't care if it's a 5.56 or a 223.
Oh, okay. Understood. Joe, what's yours? What's your favorite?
My favorite. I mean, I love ARs. I don't care how. I just love ARs.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick a favorite that's just neat and fun, it's probably the Tavor SAR. I mean, I like my X95, but the SAR is just, there's something cool about it. I just like it a lot.
Yeah. Okay, awesome, cool. Lola says, so here, Lola's chiming in on something here. She said, yesterday you said there's no stupid question, so I'll ask anyone else that's wondering, what's the difference 5.56 and 2.23? So, you want to go for this one, Joe?
Sure. So 223 is the common civilian caliber, theoretically. 5.56 is the military designation. The bird's eye sky in the view thing is, if you've got a barrel chambered in 5.56, you can shoot 223 or 5.56 in it without any issues. On the flip side, if you have a barrel chambered in 223, theoretically, since 5.56 can be loaded to hotter standards, and since there is a slight difference in the neck, theoretically, you possibly run into issues. There's volumes could be written and said about it. That's the bird's eye view. Otherwise, you're starting to get into technical stuff, and I would have to actually go back and look. But that's why I don't own a single 223 barrel. Every single one of mine are 5.56. Now, there's a lot of different twist rates, barrel lengths, all that stuff. But every barrel I own is 5.56. So I don't have to worry about it. Maybe if I was getting a bolt gun and I was going to do some serious long-range work. By serious long-range work, I'm talking about like trying to shoot gophers at 1,000 yards or something. Mm-hmm. Then maybe I would go 223 with a 223 chamber, barrel, and bolt, and the whole 9 yards. But the simplest thing I just tell people is don't even get hung up in it. Just get a 5.56 barrel and forget about 223. Then you can do it.
Yeah, you could do 223 wild. There's a bunch of different ones. Go ahead, Richard.
The only ammo I ever heard about that was a problem was some, from Europe somewhere. Mm-hmm. And their bullets, the ogive on the bullets was a little further out. And they would just not chamber in a 223. Okay. Everything else, all the Lake City ammo and stuff, it doesn't care.
Yeah. So I pulled up here the Wikipedia thing because why not? Go to Wikipedia, see what it says. It says the 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO official NATO nomenclature is a rimless bottlenecked intermediate cartridge family developed in the late 1970s in Belgium by FN Herstal. It consists of the SS-109, SS-110, SS-111 cartridges, and on October 28th, 1980, under STANAG 4172, it was standardized as the second standard service rifle cartridge for NATO forces, as well as many non-NATO countries. So the 5.56 by 45 NATO cartridge family was derived from, but is not identical to, the 223 Remington cartridge designed by Remington Arms in the early 1960s. So, and then you could flip through this on Wikipedia and look at all these things, look at it versus like 308, etc. here if you want to know. So what I'm going to take from that is just it's the standard thing so that around the world, the militaries could go, okay, we're using 5.56, everyone has different guns, but they could use the same ammo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought the old commercial guns that were made in 223 in the 60s, some of them have really short throats because they were made for the lightweight bullets. And even like the 62 grain bullets won't chamber in those guns, even the 223s.
Right. Depending on who you are, nobody likes a short throat. No? Anybody? Okay, all
I
right.
thought we
Let
weren't
them
going
float
there
out.
today.
All right, all right.
I
Don't
thought you
start
wanted a deep throat.
don't start a rebellion already. Don't start a rebellion. So there you go. You know what? I'm trying to think what's my favorite 5.56. I think we'll probably talk about it a little bit later. I like Bullpups, and I've got several Bullpups in 5.56, but I really like my Daewoo Max. Really like that. That's 5.56. It's kind of like
Oh, that's right. I forgot you had one of those. Those are pretty neat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering if it'd be a toss-up between a nice bolt gun and HK 20, is it the 21E? It's the HKE, which can be 223 or 308 belt fed.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you have any HK guns?
I've had a bunch for about a year now, but they're not mine. Whenever my customer picks them up.
Yeah, okay. It's
You
yours.
got a MP5, HK 33, 93, and the HKE.
Oh, okay.
With all the conversions.
Oh, cool. Okay. So this was like a multi-caliber deal. HKE, I don't really know that much about it. I'm going to have to look into that.
HKE is that it's the newer version of the HK21, and you can convert it from 308 to 223.
Okay, all right.
Which is kind of neat. You just pull the barrel out and pull the feed trays out, slap the other caliber in, and you're off and running.
Oh, okay. Kathleen Music Lover says, my favorite 5.56 is none. Shame on you, Kathleen.
Ouch.
Shame on you. Yeah, that hurts. And DCG44 says...
all after my own heart.
Yeah, right, okay. And DCG44 says, even my bolt gun is 5.56. So there you go. But, that's cool. We had to spend a little bit of time here celebrating the 5.56 because, that's where we're at right now.
5.56?
Yeah, I guess we had to celebrate, 223. We did that. I'm pretty sure when we hit 223, we had something to say about it. All those things that are gun related, like 357. At some point we'll get to 7.62. I bet you more people will be happy about that one. What do you guys think? Think more people will be happy on episode 7.62?
Did you do 500 Nitro Express?
No. No. No, I don't even know. I don't know anything about that either. So
that's just a big whopping cartridge.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. We've had Richard here. Richard's always coming in here. We haven't seen Joe in a while. Joe, can you catch us up? What have you been up to, man? I know the last time you were here, you lost your regular day job and stuff like that. You were going full time, doing the gun thing. What's been going on lately?
So I've been trying all different odds and ends things. I've been I did lose my my full-time gig. I've been working and getting some other things lined up and doing some other stuff which was working out prior to the whole
COVID-19
Rona disaster, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, due to that, that's put on my non-essential self. That's once again put a hit on the day job aspect. I haven't done anything in several weeks, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Got a ton more videos coming out in the pipeline. So we just dropped a new one today. Here I've got the Liberty Sovereign right there on the end of that
nice.
Zion 15.
Yes.
So the Sovereign video dropped today. The Zion 15 video is probably going to be another 3 or 4 weeks out. I still done some preliminary accuracy testing on it, which is looking really well. Got some other stuff cooking as well. We've got everything from holsters to accessories, you name it. So got a lot of that coming out, which is good. So our content's going to go back up here now that I've been stuck here for a while. But that's kind of it right now.
Yeah, has it been more active for you on the content side with everything going on, or more difficult for you to get out there? I mean, you're out. You've got a big piece of property there, right?
Yeah, so general getting out isn't hard because it's only like a couple hundred yards behind me where I do my stuff here on the property, so it's not that it's not getting out this problem. This kind of this time of year, a lot of the things that happen is a lot of things aren't conducive to filming conditions. So like for this last video that dropped, I buried myself kind of inside of the tree line a little bit, and I've got tree branches hitting me in the back of the head as I'm talking about talking about the silencer, just so the audio quality is decent. So this time of year can be rough with that, just filming. We're one of the benefits to being out in the middle of nowhere is you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The other part is, since it's almost all, I'm surrounded mostly by farmland, when the winds come through here, it's just insane. Today was another insane wind day. They actually on the northern part of my county, which isn't that far from me, probably about 15 miles, the Lake Michigan, the shoreline, the erosion for the shoreline, I guess I should say, took out a huge parking lot and has eaten into part of a road up there as well. It's just the winds have been brutal this year. Winter wasn't insanely cold, but the winds they've just been brutal all year. So I'm not sure what's up with that.
Okay. Yeah, and they get going really good coming across the lake at you.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys don't get tornadoes out there, do you?
Not where I'm at, not really.
Okay.
We do have a tornado warning system. They test it every month. And tornadoes do come through here. Last year we had a tornado that did not touch down but was visible from the house. That was pretty trippy. I've never seen one that big and that far up close. It didn't touch down, but it was relatively close. But for the most part, no on tornadoes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the content's coming out there. You said you've got some stuff from Liberty Suppressors. How was that can?
I like it. It's a lightweight can. It's 12.7 actually, 12.7 ounces, fairly light, about a little over 7 inches long.
Titanium, I'm guessing.
Titanium, aluminum, and stainless steel mixture, depending on the core baffles. I don't remember exactly how it shakes out, but I think the cap and the blast baffle are stainless. The tube is titanium, and mixture inside there for the baffles. Overall, it's a good can. I enjoyed working with it. I've messed around with it. I did some different work with some 308, some accuracy work with it and stuff. Good repeatability as far as once you've got it zeroed in there, taking the can on and off of the dedicated muzzle brake on it. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with it.
Okay, cool, awesome. We've got Dave from Liberty Suppressors comes on the show from time to time. I think
I was on with him probably a year or two ago. We had a good talk. Maybe about 2 years ago, something like that, roughly.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I see here in the chat, Chris Bullis is asking, what's a good length for a 300 Blackout pistol?
10.5.
10.5.
10.5.
Is that
it?
Okay.
Well, it depends on what powders you're using.
Okay.
I use pistol powders and everything.
Okay.
So they burn real fast. They're burned up in 6 inches or something.
Okay.
So, but I generally go 10.5 on any subsonic I build is between 10.5 and 12.5.
Okay. All right. How about you, Joe? Where do you come in there? Agree with that?
I think 10.5 is probably optimal. The main consideration I would say for people who really want to go shorter is, if you're planning on using it with a suppressor, make sure that whatever barrel length you're going to choose is going to go with either whatever suppressors you have on hand or whatever you're going to bring in. Once you start, especially supersonic, when you get below the 10.5 inch mark, you're going to have a lot of restrictions for 300 Blackout for a lot of different silencers, depending, especially if you're going with some of your smaller, cans that'll do double duty. You'll want to take that into effect. So I definitely wouldn't do anything less than 7.5. 8.5 isn't bad. I'm trying to think my shorter pistol build, I believe, is an 8.5 Hansen barrel. And insanely accurate. Does very well, suppresses well. Also, almost 99% sure it's an 8.5. Really, really nice build. does extremely well for what it is. But for me, and it's going to depend for everybody. For me, my only purpose for 300 Blackout is shooting subsonic.
Okay.
That's it. I may occasionally put supersonic through it, but if I'm shooting supersonic, I'm shooting 7.62 by 3.9. Hands down. So it's different for everybody. I don't hunt with 300 Blackout. I know some people like to hunt with 300 Blackout, especially with 300 Blackout subsonic period. You get an insane amount of drop when once you start getting a distance, regardless of barrel length, you get an insane amount of drop. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't hunt with it, because the difference when you're talking about even with a 10.5-inch barrel, if you're trying to shoot a coyote in low light, which is generally most of my shooting is predator hunting. Are you shooting, is that coyote 100 yards out? Is it 125 yards out? And that's a difference of 3 or 4 inches. And on a coyote, that 4 inches is the difference between, blowing out the very bottom of its chest versus a humane kill. And, and if you really miscalculated it, 135, you completely miss. So, I have neither the time nor inclination when I'm out in the field to mess around with 300 Blackout. And for those people who do, and they do well with it and stuff like that, you've got your BDC reticles and everything dialed in for whatever weight you've got and everything, more power to you. But at the same time, that's not my thing. I want to make sure I get good. I want to make sure that at my level, I'm getting good, clean, humane kills every time. And for me, it's not going to be 300 Blackout.
Oh, okay. So 300 Blackout is what, like a house defense gun, or what's the purpose of that to you?
For
toy.
Me,
play toy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a play toy.
Yeah,
shooting suppressed.
Play toy, shooting suppressed. I mean, there are blasts to shoot suppressed. If I'm going to take a rifle in the house, it's going to be 5.56. All day long. My home defense guns are suppressed by 5.6s. Be it the Tavor or Galil Ace, whatever the case may be. If I'm running that kind of gun, I want that kind of thing. Now that's not to say that I don't also have, I've got that quarter circle 10 9mm build that's suppressed that I have no problem using for home defense that I would love. But at the same time, be it if you're running 300 Blackout, you're basically running 9mm, a hot 9mm at that point. Not to say there's not going to be a little bit better chance of penetrating soft armor, but again, if you're looking at home defense, I would always assume intruders are going to be wearing body armor at this point.
Shoot them in the face.
In this state of the thing. Either that or, run a rifle caliber so you can drop a couple of high-powered supersonic rounds into them, and if that doesn't work, then, the face is always the preferred secondary.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan. Go ahead.
How far have you shot subsonic?
I've messed around shooting subsonic out to I think the furthest I've gone is 300 yards. Now that's target shooting. That's target shooting.
Right. And that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've got to push it out 500 or 600 yards. It is an absolute hoot. You take the shot.
I'm trying to think of the howitzer elevation you would need at that point.
At 500 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's your holdover?
At 1,000 feet per second. Because subsonic is kind of funky. It's got nothing to do with the bullet weight. It's all velocity where you figure out your drop. Or that's the biggest variable. The holdover is 23 feet.
Mm.
We went out with the 50 thumper, which is subsonic that I built years ago. Went out with some SOCOM snipers and some British SAS snipers. And I said, okay, out at 500 yards at this range, see on the top of the berm, there's that tree? Yeah. Go up about halfway up the tree. There's a dead branch going out. Yeah. Aim at that. Put the horizon crosshairs on that.
Mm. Wow.
And they're like, what are you, freaking nuts? I'm like, just trust me. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
First one pulls off the shot. Looks, he's like, I missed. Ding. He thought he missed it because he was used to supersonic.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes so long for that round to get out there. So I shoot it, put the rifle down, have a cup of coffee, sit there for another minute, and then it hits.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
So we've got a 5.56 question. We have to answer any and all 5.56 questions tonight. In my opinion.
Razor JB.
Just by the nature of it. Yeah. So, I actually missed that one right above it. So yeah, we can start with that one. Are you saying 300 Blackout doesn't penetrate like 5.56? So 300 Blackout, when it's supersonic, has virtually identical ballistics to 7.62 by 3.9. I mean, there's a little differences, but they're very, very close. It's supersonic. All right. So if you're curious there, you can, compare 7.62 by 3.9, which there's a ton of data out there on, and 5.56. That'll be a apples to apples, type of comparison with 300 Blackout supersonic. And when you get down to subsonic,
it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. It's like it's just completely different. The only thing 300 Blackout, its subsonic, has going for it over 9mm is the fact that it is a pointed round versus something that's much more blunt, much more rounded versus pointed. So that will affect how it penetrates soft body armor, for example. But no, there's going to be no comparison in penetration between 300 Blackout subsonic and 5.56 supersonic. There's another one down here, at least, unless you want to expand on that, Richard.
No.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay.
The next one is, do you recommend a bipod for 5.56 AR for coyote hunting? Be it 5.56, I'll shoot with 7.62, either 3.9 or 5.1, depending, when I test out different hunting rounds and stuff. Generally speaking, I do use a bipod. For the most part, I like to prone out in kind of elevated position on my berm when I do some stuff here on the property, which gives me a slightly downward angle into the field that I shoot in. So for me, using a bipod is completely natural and it works out very well. Coyotes are small animals. Relatively speaking, if you're going to be engaging them at any real distance. So, to get good clean hits on them, having that extra stability makes it really, really preferred to have something more stable to shoot off of. At the same time, you're going to want a bipod that allows you to traverse sideways, because generally speaking, when the coyotes present themselves, at least in my experience over the years, they're constantly moving. There's not a lot of time that I ever see a coyote standing still, especially once it gets out into the open. So when I call a coyote in, for example, unless I catch it, gazing, at whatever distractor I have from one of the tree lines, which generally speaking would be a longer shot that I'm probably not going to take, depending on, what kind of time I have. I spot them as they're running across the field, heading to that distractor. And at that point, you want a bipod that'll traverse. If you're locked into place, trying to shift is going to make it much harder. And of course, obviously, the further out you are, the less you have to traverse, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say, with the right bipod, absolutely, or monopod. I've gone out before and I've just hunted off of using the magwell as a monopod, and that works extremely well too.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Shout out to Walter from Safety Harbor. I see him out there. I know he was asking about a 410 barrel. I think earlier he was asking who has a 410 barrel. I guess he's got a 410 project. Razor JB says, sorry, I disagree. So Razor JB disagrees with you. Give us your thoughts on that, Razor. I'll be interested in hearing.
Yeah. Let us know
what your thoughts are on it. Let's see who else. I know we had some people who were also in Indiana. They said they had a bunch of trees and stuff like that down. That was way back though. Shout out to Tyven. I see Tyven's show out there as well. If you guys have other questions here, let us know. We'll definitely get into that. While we're waiting for all of that to come back in, how has obviously we haven't seen you this whole time. This whole coronavirus apocalypse has been upon us. How is Indiana faring? How are you faring with all of this and the family?
Personally, the family's doing very well. So no issues with us. Be it our family or extended family. As far as the state-wise, we're not having a ton of cases here in the state compared to other places. Our governor has been pretty much towing the line as far as lockdowns and things like that. Our current shelter-in-place order is set to expire tomorrow. So there's an indication has been given that they're going to possibly let it lapse and then have strong suggestions that businesses open up on their own accord.
Strong suggestions. Okay, I like
right.
that.
Yeah. I'm trying to the information that's been given has been kind of bare or vague on what exactly. I think they're waiting to the last minute to decide. I guess maybe hoping for better guidance from the federal level as opposed to actually taking a stand on their own. So and that's kind of the sad part. We've seen the same thing in counties around the state as far as they're towing unquestionably the federal line, and then the state line, and the state's towing that federal line, and it's sad that we can't. Whatever the initial reaction, whatever the initial thought was as to how bad this was, because part of this the COVID-19 was that there was a jump there from animals to humans that was unexpected, right? Or at least allegedly. So there was a lot of concern as to exactly the lethality of this virus and everything else. So maybe those initial lockdowns were justified. That at the time, maybe those were prudent decisions. But what we're looking at now with all the data that's out, the papers from the University of Southern California, for example, all the data that we're seeing from other countries such as Sweden that has virtually done nothing in terms of any sort of sheltering in place or anything like that, virtually zero lockdown of any kind. The mortality rates are extremely low. You're talking about, in general, for people who get it, your mortality rate is probably about 0.1%, 0.2%. Very low. I think you're looking at over 90% of the people who die from COVID-19 have multiple comorbidities, and you're looking at a survival rate or a recovery rate, I should say, of between 92 and 96% of people who get COVID-19 will recover 100% with zero treatment and zero hospitalization or medical intervention of any kind. So we're looking at something that, while is it appears to be more contagious than the flu, kills less people and has a lower fatality rate than the seasonal flu.
Yeah. And it's probably been around longer than, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's probably been around longer than they initially suggested, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Is the best way to say it. I mean, I know at SHOT Show, when does SHOT Show start? January 20th, I think?
Yeah, it was the
Something
17th
like
or 20th.
Something like that, yeah.
About
at SHOT Show, we were talking about it. So people in America were aware of it, and I think at this point they're saying, hey, maybe this goes back November, December, or earlier than that. Yeah. So, and it didn't wipe us, and we weren't doing anything, and we're not all wiped out, so.
Exactly. At this point, it's almost about control, and it doesn't mean that people with comorbidities or people who are elderly, for example, if you're 80 years old or older especially, shouldn't take it seriously, just like they should seriously take the flu. But when we're looking at deaths from seasonal flu, we can see as many as 60,000 deaths a year in the United States just from seasonal flu. And that's something that a ton of people in the U.S. get vaccinated for every year, but yet we're still seeing numbers. Last year, I think, was 48,000. We've seen as high as 60,000 in the past couple of years. So again, it's not that these things don't matter. It's not that we shouldn't take them seriously, but they should be put into perspective. If we're theoretically, and for the most part, most of the people, who are dying of COVID-19 right now aren't dying of COVID-19. They're dying because they have COPD because they smoked for 40 years. And that, now they're in their 80s. They have COPD, they have hypertension, they have diabetes, and they just so happen to also catch, the coronavirus. Well, all those other things are what killed them. It wasn't just coronavirus. So I feel, again, it's not like all these lives don't matter, and it's not sad when a virus like this that possibly could have been contained in China if we knew about it early enough, because China knew about this back in November at least. But here we are. So yeah, exactly. Somebody made a comment that the death rate goes with the with infection rates, and we're seeing that some solid data out of Los Angeles County in the Bakersfield area, where there's at least 500,000 people just in that one county testing positive for COVID-19 antibodies, which of course that's one county that's showing half as many infections as the entire country is technically reporting right now. So as we start to see that, extrapolate that data out, we're seeing that mortality rate just plummet. Which is excellent news. So, whatever the initial response was, no matter how appropriate it may have been, today is much different. We have much different data now, and we need to be responding accordingly. Yeah. And we shouldn't let the media drive unwarranted fear and panic.
No, and you know what, man? First of all, like a lot of things in life, we don't know anything. We know nothing. We know nothing. There's a lot of guessing. I'm not saying you, or I mean, all of us. The way that we're all looking at this, I don't think the government knows everything. Surely they probably know more than we do, and there's things they know they're not telling us, right? Because it's the government. But we don't really know what's going on here, except for one thing. We know that we shut down the entire country, the entire planet for that matter. But let's focus on America. America first here. We shut down the entire country over something like a death rate that's pretty much equal to what would have happened anyway, right?
Yep.
And we're going to start seeing the results of that pretty soon here. A lot of people here are going to wind up losing their jobs. There's a lot of wealth destruction going on. Believe it or not, it just may not really seem like that. We're definitely going to have some kind of hyperinflation since we're just pulling money out of the thin air. These are the things that we know, and they're really going to be destructive. And things that are coming down, man. I mean, there's news of things that I'm hearing about. That I think once it really gets out there to people, you haven't really seen the unemployment numbers yet. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. You haven't seen the destruction yet from it.
No. I mean, think about like hospitals, for example. We told people don't go to the hospital, don't go see your doctors and everything, because we don't want you clogging up the system. So people stopped doing that. Then everyone prepared for this apocalypse that didn't happen. Meanwhile, those institutions lost all that revenue.
There's going to be a lot of hospitals closing over the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, it's I don't think people already know, man. There's already waves coming out there. I think in the next couple of days, the next few weeks, it's going to be pretty devastating what people are going to see happening out there. And if folks don't get back, like so many of these states, including the one that we're in here in Florida, are just kind of like going, oh, we're going to go real slow with this. And they don't realize, like, every week you keep putting this thing off, you are just taking your state out. Look at what California did, man. They're just doubling down on the shutdown. Because they're mad that people were out on the beaches. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really, at this point, it's unconscionable what they're doing. The amount of people that aren't getting help right now, that need help, be it medical help, psychological help. It's not a good place for people to be in right now, especially with all the hype, and people are scared to death. I go to the store and I see tons of people wearing masks, bandanas, all this different stuff, and it's just it's really sad that what's happening right now, and it's got to stop.
Yeah,
got to stop.
Well, our leaders are like they're just driving full speed, just off the edge of the cliff. Let's freaking go out like
absolutely. I mean, nobody's batted an eye that in the past 6 weeks the federal government spent $3 trillion. Just poof. Just $3 trillion, poof. I mean, that is insane to me.
And
no small businesses got any.
Right. It had no.
It was supposed to be for small business.
It had no discernible effect.
None.
Yeah. It had no discernible effect. No small businesses that I'm aware of were even able to get their hands on it. I know some people got some Trump money. Congratulations to you. A lot of people didn't. And I don't, I know Kathleen Music Lover is saying that, okay, now I'm depressed. I'm not trying to depress you. Definitely that's why we're still here doing the show, but we're not trying to depress everyone out there. We're trying to keep everyone's spirits up. We're just trying to talk about some reality. Look, if you want to put all of this in perspective, today I heard, like, before we came on the show, I heard some terrible news from a friend of mine that I've known since I was 12 years old that lost his kid. I don't even know what happened, but his son was as old as my son, my oldest son. So, I mean, there's worse things happening in the world for sure. And if we burn our economy down and all that, but we're still alive, we're Americans, damn it. We could build back from this if we learn from it. But this thing that we went into all willy-nilly, and now these guys don't want to let us out of, and there was no tragedy, there were no hospitals that were just inundated with patients and all that kind of stuff. I know there was some tough zones like New York and all of that. I get it. Man, it's like this massive monster out there that's hiding in the closet, and everyone's pretending like it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely. The idea that, they keep saying this thing like, oh, well, essential business is essential that. I'll tell you right now, to the small business owner, to all their employees, to the waitress, to the busboy, their jobs are essential to them putting food on the table and feeding their family. That's essential. I don't care if government doesn't deem them feeding their families essential or not. Though every job in this country is essential for the people working.
Every single one.
Yeah. Every single small business in this country is more essential than any large corporation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Atomic Bull said something here is interesting. I want to see what you guys think about it. I'm reading it for the first time. He says the expiration date of COVID-19 is November 3rd, 2020. After that date, we won't hear too much about it. What do you think about that? Is that accurate?
Oh.
Do you agree, disagree with that? What do you think, Rich?
It's...
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no. Take it, Rich.
There's going to be a big blow up when everybody comes out of their little hidey holes. When a bunch of people are going to get it, and that's just the way it is. We should have been out getting it now.
So you mean you're talking about herd immunity? People should have been out there engaging. Well, we were engaging with each other.
Yeah.
This thing was out and we were engaging with each other. No one wants to admit that.
Right.
That a lot of people, as Joe was already saying, Joe, you're in the medical field. You probably understand this better than we do.
Absolutely. I've got a clinical background in nearly 20 years. I am well versed in reading scientific papers, medical papers, white papers. It's part of what I did. Part of what I did for my previous position as a clinical manager was developing standard operating procedures for our clinicians and the work that we did. And all the data that we're seeing, all of it, unless in DC they have some sort of data that they're keeping to themselves or not letting us see. All the data we're seeing over these past 3 weeks is all pointing. Everything is not just a slow curve down. It is plummeting straight down. The more and more tests are done, is plummeting straight down. And again, when the first week or two this dropped and we found out about it, putting a shutdown on people coming in and out of the country, 100%. That's absolutely 100% the correct thing to do. As far as possibly a short-term shelter-in-place / maybe get people wearing masks and social distancing, in that short term, while they're figuring out what the heck's going on, sure. But now it's just insane that they're doubling down on this, and you see some of the things across the country. You see pastors and preachers getting arrested for holding services. You see a guy out, windsurfing, 100 yards offshore, nobody around him for 100 yards in any direction. The cops call him in and then arrest him.
Yeah, mother's arrested in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
So here's something that's huge. It comes down to control, and here's something that really just nails it on the head, in my opinion. Did you see the tweet from Mayor Bloomberg yesterday or the day before yesterday?
I'm not sure what
Mayor
you're talking. I
Bloomberg
know. Okay.
he made a tweet
hmm
specifically threatening Jews with mass arrest
Yeah.
if they're to congregate.
I saw
Bloomberg.
that.
I mean,
It's like, oh yeah,
Bloomberg.
it's like,
Oh yeah, I
boy,
mean
it kind of
it was
sounds like the
100%.
Nazis.
hmm
It was 100% pointed.
Wow.
He started it out. I'll have to look and bring.
Yeah.
I need to look and
I
bring
know
this
that
back
I
up.
saw that
It
Bloomberg is developing
insane.
an app to track people in New York City. And obviously we've got we've got Apple doing that. We've got other places doing it. Hector Lopez says Hector Lopez 32 says election day is not going to happen. I'm not sure about that. I know they're sure as hell going to try to push us towards that, but I think that we might see a pitchforks and torches moment in America when the real hard news starts hitting people, because a lot of people were furloughing their employees, but when those big companies just start laying off people in mass, that's when a lot of this is going to come home for people. And we haven't really seen that yet. We've seen some of it, but in small numbers where it's really not it's really not getting reflected in the overall like zeitgeist of everyone. But when that starts happening, when every second or third person let's say that every third person is getting laid off, the people are going to go, oh, wait a second, and we really can't keep going that much further without that happening. It's probably going to start happening in the next couple of weeks, and then just start rolling through, right? What happens then?
Yeah. So can you see my screen right now? Did I actually share this properly?
Let's see. Okay, there you go. Yes. My message. So this is from Mayor de Blasio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was 2 days ago. It wasn't like it was a month ago. This is 2 days ago.
Yeah, he says, my message to the Jewish community and all communities is this simple. The time for warnings has passed. I've instructed the NYPD to proceed immediately to summons or even arrest those who gather in large groups. This is about stopping this disease and saving lives, period. So obviously they're just planning on, with religious things coming up, I guess.
Right.
You can't do it.
And for him to, it's always about control, and the tyrants always show their true face. When you look at the people who really want the lockdown and control, people like de Blasio, the way he goes after minority communities, especially, be it targeting black communities and saying they shouldn't own firearms, they shouldn't be able to defend themselves, going after the Jewish community here. I mean, you look at the wording that is in here about stopping disease, for example. I mean, you take these words and slightly change their location, and literally you almost have a literal quote from Hitler about the Jewish disease and arresting them in mass and things like this. And it's not trivial to say that. This is insanely disturbing that this isn't being called out on a mass level. This is insane.
And how is that a solution for a city like New York City? How is that a solution? Okay, you're inundated with this stuff, but how the hell is that a solution?
I have no idea. You're going to take people and lock them in jail, which is an even more confined environment to keep them safe. It's insane.
Eventually, you're going to have a city with a massive population just snapping on you. You're going to have them just snapping on you. Because you're locking them up at home. People are losing their jobs. They're running out of money and food and all kinds of stuff. They're getting sick. They're not seeing they're not seeing any kind of sunshine even, right? to put them at least in a state of mind that they could cope with what's happening around them. When maybe even they should be out there getting some kind of herd immunity against what's going on. And what you're doing is like, no, we're going to confine the living daylights out of you. You're going to get massive pushback at some point. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe in America we're so passive that it won't look like France. But come on, man. We've seen places like France that are so socialist, they basically coddle everyone, and we've seen those places break. And even when you look around the world, aren't we seeing all these other countries going, hey, one way or the other, we got to go back.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see that there's places that, especially places that have large populations like New York City and LA, for example, really trying to, force that on people. Did you guys see that Elon Musk came out and said, did you see the Elon Musk tweet?
Yes,
I did not.
Yeah,
that was funny.
yeah. Let me see. I want to pull it up. I don't want to
Yeah.
misquote it. I think it was a pretty simple quote. Let me pull it up from him though. He got into a lot of trouble with this because apparently the Facebook knucklehead was out there and saying exactly the opposite thing. Let me see. I'll pull it up here. This was like a massive. This was a massively big week or quote for Elon Musk. I'm trying to find it right now. Something. Oh, damn! I can't believe I can't find this tweet. If someone knows what the tweet is out there, I'm trying to find it. I wonder if he deleted his tweet because he got into so much trouble. I see him saying this is misleading the public. There's a whole bunch of different things going on, but he was basically saying yesterday, he's putting. If you look at his thing right now, I'm gonna run it in here. He's saying like forced isolation is bad. Why forced isolation is bad? He says hospitals in California have been half empty this entire time. Here it goes. I just found it. Okay. Free America now. That was the quote that he put out. It's been retweeted 61,000 times. Has 322,000 likes. That's from Elon Musk. Meanwhile, the what's his name from Facebook is like, yeah, we need to stay home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for Elon Musk. Overall, not only is he extremely intelligent man, but he's done amazing things business-wise. His vision for the future is, while I don't always necessarily agree with it, it's bold. It's he's goal-oriented, and it's absolutely amazing.
I think also he's looking at things like, I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to put on a pink silk shirt like Joe Rogan. And just fawn over Elon Musk either. You know what I mean? But I think that okay, Richard's saying that he's seeing your desktop, but no, Richard, I think that I don't know if Joe still has his desktop open, but everyone else is seeing you guys. So that's just probably on your end. What was I saying? I don't agree with everything with Elon Musk, but I think that he has the ability to cut through a lot of things. This is how he's been able to keep Tesla going and come up with a lot of things. There's things he could cut through here and see it. But this is almost like the Emperor's clothing, man. You don't have to be super smart to realize that something massively wrong's going on here. It's just like some of the leaders, I think, of industry are all down with this, like they're somehow going to benefit, and then some other people are like, hell no, this is going to be the end of society if we keep going in this direction. So
absolutely. I mean, it's unheard. Forget about what even the original assumed mortality rates. It's unheard of to quarantine healthy people. You don't quarantine healthy people. It's never been done before, and there's a reason why. It's ridiculous, and I can see people like De Blasio and others who really love that power and control. Being on board with this and staying on board with it. What disturbs me the most is how many so-called conservatives are at this point, not initially, but at this point, are still behind this. It's insane to me. It boggles the mind. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a little, when I think about it, it's almost like, these guys just want to reset everything.
Yeah. They want to take control of the whole country.
Yeah. It's almost like they want the reset. Like we're worried about it. You would think it's the people, first of all, think it's the guys like us that want, I don't want it. I don't want that. But these guys
I've got a wife and 3 daughters. I don't want that.
Yeah, but they seem to want it, though. They seem to want it.
And it happens, but we don't want it.
Yeah,
And this is one of the largest wealth redistribution schemes these past 2 months that the nation's ever seen. I mean, worse than the New Deal or anything else. I mean, it's $3 trillion that's just...
Yeah, it's magically disappearing. No one knows where it's going to.
Yeah. 35 million to the Kennedy Space Center. You've got tens of millions of dollars went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, who had $400 million in profit last year.
Yeah.
Not begrudging them for profit. I mean, if you want to make $1 billion a year, awesome, rock on.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't be taking tens of millions of dollars in handouts, from the taxpayers, because that's where it's ultimately going to fall on. It's not coming from the government. It's coming out of all of our pockets that are watching us right now.
How can your rules classify a business that has 500 employees as a small business?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Everything
in each
I've
location,
ever learned,
not in around the country, right? Like a Walmart,
Right.
Walmart that's massive. Your local Walmart does not have 500 employees, so that's a small business. That's insanity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, Richard. What were you saying?
I just don't understand that. Everything I've ever learned about business,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of the definition of a small business is a business with under 50 employees.
Mm-hmm.
How come with this thing, it's, if you have under 500 employees, you're a small business. Kiss my ass, you are not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of definition is that? Because
it's not, and I can guarantee you that all the smaller businesses that like we're talking about, like 50 and below, especially in that first go around, these larger companies like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, right? They have accountants and lawyers on staff full time.
Mm-hmm.
The second that bill went through, they went through there and they filed for that money within hours, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
They filed almost immediately. Whereas the small business person, like us, we had to go through and sort through all this crap, find out if we even may be qualified, go through all this stuff, and then, there's no money available. Now there's a second round of money out there, but who knows if we're even going to qualify.
There's going to be rounds and rounds.
It's disturbing.
Yeah, there's going to be rounds and rounds.
Yeah. This is nowhere near being done.
Yeah. How do these big schools get this money? I know they're like, we'll be nice, we'll give it back. How do these big schools get this money when they already got the money from the parents, right, for their kids' education? Like, my kids are in college. They already got our money.
Yeah.
They already got it, and then they close down school. What do they even need the money for? There's no school. You have the money from all these kids that are signed up. You're not running a school or anything like that. Then you're going in there and taking money on top of that?
It's because all these big businesses and the schools, they didn't go through the same process that us small businesses went through. They called the politicians and the bureaucrats that they bought.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, give us $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, oh, sure, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Us small businesses, we don't have the money to buy politicians and bureaucrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bricks makes a good point here. It says, Bricks says, how come I can't get this? There we go. Remember when we're in a state of emergency, the money gets to flow with no accountability. We're almost like Afghanistan or Iraq right now.
Yeah.
Right?
There's just tons of money on a plane, and we don't know where it's going. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, for sure. One of the things that I hope people look at after this, and hopefully there will be an after this, but you know what I mean. People look at this and say, all right, all these insane regulations, the red tape, the bureaucracy that we're able to push aside, just because a politician says so. Why do businesses have to deal with this every single day, regardless, right? I really hope that people get riled up enough to get rid of a lot of this red tape. That was Trump's thing when he said he was going to when he was coming into office, he was going to get rid of all the red tape, get rid of all that bureaucracy and everything. They made a little bit of a show of it, but honestly, he could be drilling this home right now and making a great point and getting this stuff made permanent. But instead, here we are, and it's just it's really disheartening. Again, it's not those control freaks out there like de Blasio and the gang that surprise me when they do things like this, because it's who they are. It's what they do, right? Mm-hmm. It's everybody else is going for it. It boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And
that being said, what do you guys think about Trump right now? What are you guys thinking about Trump and what he's getting up to here? Good, bad? You waiting to see what happens? You know.
You know, things for me kind of haven't changed. I'm not thrilled with him, but it's, you know, it's the same old thing. Voting for the lesser of two evils. You know, I don't like him because he's anti-gun.
Yeah, but the voting for the lesser of two evils is getting old.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd much prefer if we just start hanging politicians. You know, I'm at that point now. Let's go build the gallows out on the mall and start hanging them. You know, we are at that point.
Right. The opinions of Richard of BWE Firearms do not necessarily reflect.
No, they don't. They just reflect my opinion.
What were you going to say, Joe? Not that I'm arguing with you, Richard.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say is, you know, Trump's allegedly coming in as an outsider. You know, being the businessman, you know, I look at these things and it really disturbs me that, you know, there's only so much you can say that, you know, and a lot of what he's done has been pushed off to, well, he got bad advice or he's relying on the advice of experts who are politically biased, whatever the case may be, right? There's only so many times you can give a person that excuse. You know, is he actually he should be, is Trump actually laying eyes on the data, or is he only listening to Fauci and I forgot her name.
I think her name was Bricks, the doctor, right?
No, I'm blanking, but
okay.
You guys know who I'm talking about. Those are the two main doctors who are up there, and then of course there's a Surgeon General who's up there as well.
I don't know why I thought her name was Bricks.
Navy guy.
Yeah. Could be wrong.
But is he actually looking at any? I mean, he's intelligent enough, you know, to look at the papers, to look at the data, and draw his own conclusions. And is he even putting his eyes on those, or is he just listening to what he's being told? It's very disturbing to me that
Burks. James Miller says Burks. Dr.
Yes,
Burks. Yes.
Thank you. He should realize the gravity of the situation that he's entered into, and really be applying the strongest of tests. You know, as you know, the Constitution is absolutely being shredded right now, and the overwhelming the only way you could even try and justify that would be something so horrific that you basically need to declare martial law. And what we're seeing here is something that's so mild, so inane when compared to seasonal flu. Right.
Yeah.
It's just insane to me, and it has to end. And there's got to be some sort of repercussions for this, for those involved. Now, the problem, of course, there being is, we've got an election coming up in November, but we've got a choice between Trump and, you know, the hair sniffer. I mean,
that's not a choice.
Biden is just it's not even a choice.
Biden's not a choice. Come on, no one. I don't think any. I mean, obviously, like, we know where we're at, right, Joe? But I don't even think the people out there that Biden is representing think that Biden is a choice.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they do.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know I'm cutting you off here a little bit, but if you could just hold the thought for a second before we, like, one of the things I think about Trump that happened is he got pushed into the fair corner by the media. Because I think like what we're saying, I think he realizes it, and there's people around him that realizes it. Perhaps it was by the doctors, but the media pushed him into this fair corner, right? Because, like, saying, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. If all these people die in America, it's going to be all your fault. They're still hitting him with that anyway, right? Like, did you see that reporter that that was asking him, like, you know, do you think you deserve to be president again after 50-something thousand people died? This is not a freaking war. This is, you know, this is a virus. This is a thing that human beings can't really do anything about. We could talk about it all we want to, But ultimately, this happens, and that many people die anyway, right, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
he's afraid that if this would have really happened, they would have been like, "Oh, this is all you." You know, maybe they would have thought they would have been stringing him up in the White House, and he got pushed into that fear corner, and now he's reacting out of fear of everything. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's 100% a legitimate point there. You know, I want to try and choose my words carefully because I don't want to be too critical, but at the same time, I mean, no matter how he played this, the media was going to try and destroy him. I think that's 100%. That's 100% clear. But you know, the idea that, you know, for the most vulnerable segments of the population, we had, you know, for example, a health community that didn't instruct people on the proper use and of not just of masks, but proper masks to protect them. You know, and then you see, you know, and again, is this what he's hearing, or is this actually what he truly looked into? Because he said he looked into it in depth when he, you know, press conference after press conference, he lambasted Sweden for how they handled it. Well, as it turns out, Sweden's got the same death rate we do when it comes to COVID-19, when adjusted for population.
Yeah.
So, and they did basically zero lockdown in Sweden. You know, it's difficult because and I hate to say this, but at times it's like Trump is just making stuff up on the spot, legitimately making stuff up on the spot to fit his narrative sometimes. And I think we've seen that a lot with COVID-19. That at least has opened my eyes to his. He's never really willing that often to say I don't know or I'm not sure. He always wants to fill the air with something, and that's really got me disheartened on him quite a bit. Again, it's not like we're going to have an alternative here in November, but at the same time,
I think he lost. Okay, maybe he never had good advisors. Because you know what, if you're in a position where, you know, you're too alpha male or whatever it is for anyone to speak to you. You know what I mean? If you can't be spoken to.
Yeah.
Like if you're a leader and you have other people around you helping you to lead, and they can't come to you and say, "Hey, wait a second. You know what? This is wrong." And if you can't take their word for it and all that kind of stuff, and know that, hey, these guys are experts, they understand this. If you can't do that and people are afraid to talk to you, you run into this kind of problem, right? Where you don't have good people around you. They're not really giving you good advice. And like you said, maybe you're doing more talking than listening. And then you just start to make up stuff as you go along. And it gets kind of dangerous because in a situation like this, you have to make tough decisions. The media doesn't mean a damn thing. You know, the reality is that if you destroy the American economy, you mess up a lot of places. Not just America. You mess up a lot of the world. Right? And there's going to be repercussions for that. You know? So, and I think that's the big thing that we're in, that these guys are just like, oh, yeah, just take our time. There actually isn't time. We've been doing this for too long. And I don't think people realize exactly what's happening here. This inevitably is going. So there's people that, because they closed their businesses, opening back up their businesses, they're planning on doubling and tripling their prices. Do you know that?
Yep.
Yeah, they've got to make up for it, and these insane social distancing guidelines that they're going to be placing on restaurants. Can you imagine having a restaurant that, you know, it seats 100 people, now cannot seat more than 33 people? You know, they're talking about in a lot of states a third of the capacity. How in the world are they going to pay their bills? How is the waitress going to survive on a third of a paycheck?
Right. Well,
it's insane to me.
So the solution for that is that you know, they're going to double and triple their prices. But let me give you a little thing about that. I don't know if anyone here ever heard Rich Dad Poor Dad. Anyone ever heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad? That's one of the, I forgot the name of the financial guru that does the rich dad poor dad thing.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
Yeah. But he has this story that always sticks with me in situations like when it comes to people jacking up their prices. And he said, like, him and his wife, they owned apartment buildings and stuff like that, right? They were into real estate. They rented to people. So one day his wife was trying to figure out how to get some more money. And she was like, I know what to do to get more money. We'll just up the rent. And he was trying to tell her, you know what? I don't think we should do that. I really don't think we should start upping the rent. She was like, no, this is easy. This is a simple thing. We'll just up the rent. We'll make more money. Okay, she upped the rent. About a third of the people renting from them went and got an apartment somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So now they had all these empty apartments. Well, this is the same thing I think that's going to happen when everyone thinks they could fix the fact that they have to go down to a quarter capacity of their store or whatever it is by doubling or tripling prices. People are going to go, you know what? Forget it. I don't even need to eat out. I've been living at home for the last 8 weeks. Yeah. I'm just going to keep rocking and rolling like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go on to Amazon.
Yeah, this is what people don't understand. I already see people doing things like that, like jacking up the prices. And my first thought in my mind is, dude, if I don't really need that thing, I'm not going to buy it. Or I'm going to buy it from you less. Now what are you going to do? Because you could come up with your magical solution, but I don't have more money magically. So how are we going to deal with that? I see Walter saying it's not the end of the world. I agree with Walter. We can't end this world. We don't have the capability of ending it, but it's going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to change. And that's the thing. And it's how everyone reacts to that change. And this is not a natural progressive change. We just took an economy from a super high and just basically just crashed it. So there will be change. There will be change coming. Okay, I know I cut you guys off on that one. I couldn't help it. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
You are bad.
Bad good.
Yeah.
But
Robert Kiyosaki, that was the name I was looking for. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, I recommend people pay attention to that. Yeah.
There's a comment from YNH about carryout. So just yesterday, went to Culver's for the first time. Culver's is a little Midwest burger joint up here in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. I don't know, other areas. Well, now I guess they're all over the country. I've seen them down in Florida now too. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Culver's used to have this snack pack. Basically, it was a small drink, small fry, and one of their butter burgers. It was like $4.99. Well, they've eliminated the snack pack. Now they call it a value basket, whatever value basket. They transitioned the name. It's the same combo. Well, now it's $6.39.
Ooh.
And that's like the cheapest combo on Culver's menu that just happened. And I don't know if it was within the past 1 to 3 weeks. I haven't been to Culver's in a while. I'm not really if I like to do burgers at home, honestly, this time of year. But it was a thing, and we went there, and it's like, oh well, yeah, there you go. There's an extra $1.40, per person for our meal tonight. And so it's one of those things you're not going to. It's going to get wrapped up into everything. The only thing you're probably going to save in carry out, if you're talking about going to a nicer restaurant, would be saving on tipping, the waitress or waiter. It's going to touch on a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah. Walter says that he says economy will bounce back kind of fast once the government gets out of the way. I say to that, perhaps, but the government's not getting out of the way anytime soon.
Yeah, they're not going to get out of the way.
That's the problem with the government getting out of the way.
Yeah, and M. Gabrielle, M. Gabrielle says Butterburgers sounds good to me. Sounds delicious.
They're actually pretty good burgers. So in like the fast food joint chain of burgers, they're not. For fast food, they're not bad burgers.
It's called Culver's?
Culver's, yeah. They're known for like their custards, and they do like fried cheese curds.
Oh my gosh, fried cheese curds, custards, and Butterburgers?
Yeah, custard,
This is how you die of the COVID-19.
That is exactly how you die of the COVID-19. And, Yeah.
I think
Again, it's not bad. It's worth a try once if you haven't been there. They're not bad. They're fries. They're crinkle cut fries, but they're a little bit crispier. They're not like the soggy crinkle cut fries. So the fries are pretty decent too. So they're not bad. Not my favorite, but they're not bad. They're better than McDonald's anyway. So,
there you go. By the way, lots of folks out there, smash the thumbs ups, please. We appreciate that. Walter should have just been on the show tonight. He says the meat packing situation. Yeah, he should have just come on, Walter. Yep. But you know, we appreciate his input. Yeah. He's, you know, he can't get away. I think it's you know, it's me. Basically, when Walter doesn't get to see me, you know, he's missing his fix. He's got to get his Hank Strange fix on. Walter says the meat packing situation is more of a concern to the food supply. What do you guys think about that?
And of course, Walter's talking about meat packing.
Yeah, he's.
Oh my! Shots fired.
Yeah. Oh boy. And how? That was a 50 BMG.
Right. Walter's 100% right with that. That is going to affect a lot of stuff, and it's going to affect a lot of. You know, we eat a tremendous amount of meat in this country. It's a huge part of our diet, and. And it's not just increasing the cost, but the mental aspect of not just hitting people with unemployment, with jobs. Now they can't eat meat with their dinner. It's a huge mind screw. You know, it's the 1, 2, 3, but the combo just keeps coming. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. The mental health aspect of this is really can't be overstated. And we've seen a lot of reports from a lot of hospitals, clinical settings where there's increases in things, you know, everything from spousal abuse, child abuse, depression is increasing, suicides are spiking. People who, it's easy to play all big and tough, but at the same time, you have to understand there are some people that they can only handle so much.
Yeah, if you're not built to be introverted and all that kind of stuff, this is terrible.
Right. And there are people who shelter themselves from certain events, right? We see it all the time. You know, living up here in the Midwest, I get a lot of news out of Chicago, and you'll see it all the time. You'll see, oh, I can't believe it. This never happens in this neighborhood. Well, literally across the street, somebody was shot, but that's a different neighborhood. Literally, half a block away is a different neighborhood to them, and they can't believe that crime traveled half a block and is now in their neighborhood. It's that kind of disconnect that unfortunately a lot of people in the society have developed by trying to tune themselves out, and I think it's a result of it's a result of the whole, you know, there are certain things you're not supposed to talk about. You know, you're not like supposed to talk about religion, politics, or what's the other one? I don't know. You're not supposed to talk about religion and politics at the dinner
think
table.
Sex is probably in there. All the stuff we talk about here all the time. Yeah.
Right. So the consequence of that is you're only
race,
and
maybe
talking,
race. Sorry.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But you're only talking about and conversing about good things. You're glossing over things so that when bad news does hit you, it's like a slap in the face and you're shocked. Well, you keep getting hit with bad news after bad news, and some people can't handle it. They respond in different ways. And there's no, you know, for the beginning part of that where I was talking about, you know, be it spousal abuse, child abuse, any of that stuff, there's no, it's not an excuse for that or any sort of justification. It's simply a manifestation of things that push certain people over the edge. And we can talk about how bad it is, but we also have to understand at the same time that when you're creating conditions that are conducive to foster this sort of environment, especially when kids who maybe a parent wouldn't, you know, I'm not talking about spanking. I'm talking about beating the crap out of their kid and giving them a black eye, something like that. What, you know, who may not may not beat their kid as much as they would if they were sending them to school where those bruises would be visible. Now they're not even going, and not that I'm advocating for public schooling by any means, but my point is that with these vulnerable populations being sequestered away from society, it's giving more free rein to these people who would do it anyway, and the negative ramifications, especially now with what we know, the negative ramifications of this lockdown in no way justify it. And it can in no way justify the small percentage of death from COVID-19.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I think you should just let people go out. If we're gonna keep people locked up because we don't want them to get sick, they're going to get sick if you force them to be locked up if they're not capable of handling it. If they're not like so, for example, I am very introverted. The people around me are very introverted. Lola would rather not deal with people. My son's totally happy. Just dealing with, like, we could deal with each other, and I think there's a lot of people like that. We're happy to see each other, know everyone's okay, but there's people out there that can't function like that, right? And they definitely can't function being locked up with their family members, right? So that's why, like you said, we have these things going on, and a lot of this is because we're like, oh, people can't go out and interact with each other. What's that saying? One often meets one's destiny on the road to avoid it. That thing you're trying to avoid, you are going to run smack dab into that because of this situation. And I think that's the biggest thing, the mental thing. I agree with Walter. If we have a meat shortage, then there's a problem. For sure, in America. And that's going to affect some people more than others, depending on where you live, right? But
absolutely.
But the psychology of the human being, that's the most destructive thing. And to see California, look, when I saw all those people on the beach in California, I was like, you got to let these people out and let them go on the beach. What do they do in California? They're like, oh no, we got to shut this down. We can't have these people out on the beach. We're going to start arresting people if they're out on the beach. There was a skate park in California that, because the kids were over there skating, they filled it in with sand.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I heard the kids turned it into a dirt bike park now.
Yeah. Is that for real? That's what they should do. You can't do this to human beings. We don't function like this. It's the simple things. We could go through, like, okay, there's less money, okay, there's a little bit less food. We've had to deal with all of that, but not even in the worst of times did we say to human beings, you can't leave your house.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I mean, I've been, working out of the house for the last 17 years. It was 3 weeks before I found out there was a lockdown. Oh, there was? I didn't notice. But even I'm starting to get a little buggy, because...
Oh, you've been buggy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Where do I go? Well, let's see. I can go to the grocery store. I can go to the post office.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough thing. Yeah. I think they just need to stop right now and let people get out there, let everything bounce back. Yes, we're going to run into a situation, so more people are going to get sick, but we don't have any way of stopping this thing. It's already mutating, and this is what the world is all about. There's no way, if we're really going to shut down like this, we are going to be shut down consistently. There's no way, if this goes away, then there's another thing right behind it. And then there's another thing right behind that. Then there's another thing right behind that. We just have to live, people.
You can't be scared of everything.
Yeah. So, and then all the problems that we have are just getting amplified by what's happening. So this is why we see a massive run on toilet paper. Then we could potentially see a run on meat and stuff like that. Hopefully not, but that could happen, right? But mostly it's because we're doing this to ourselves. We're doing this to ourselves, and we're getting everyone all worked up instead of just letting people go out, let people do what they do. Okay, there's a breakout of this thing over here. Okay, let's get in there, deal with that.
Yeah.
Lock that down.
If you're so scared about getting it, don't leave your house. But let the rest of us, personally, I want to get the damn thing and get it over with. Tell me where do I go to get it? Because I'm there.
New York City. I'm sure.
Road trip.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy to see you. Hector Lopez says...
New York City, they shoot me coming across the border.
Yeah. By the way, just a question here to Hector Lopez 32 out there. Do I know you? Answer that question. Yes or no. Hector Lopez says, New York City rats are huge. I think I might try it. I think this is one of the reasons why this is a bigger problem in New York City than anywhere else. But I don't want to get in trouble for my theories. Everyone always says my theories are crazy. But remember, this thing jumped from people to animals. It's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's been happening. So there's people's cats and stuff and dogs and all kinds of, we got tigers. I don't know how tigers getting it, but, so let's see.
Tigers got it from Joe Exotic.
Joe, yeah.
Well, no, more than likely it was that Carol Baskin.
Yeah, well, okay. If Joe, I don't even know if
I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I probably missed the episode.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. I don't know if we need to kick that off again. Okay, let's try to go to something else here. Let's see. What else can we go to? Oh, you know what? I did send you guys. Let me see. Let's see. Should we go to a gun thing? We'll go to a gun thing, right? Sure. I sent you guys this firearms blog article. I don't know if you all got a chance to look at it. So James did TFB James. Oh, you got the list right there. Yeah, he did 5 guns that need to make a comeback and a remix of those guns. And I was talking about this actually. So I think it was Johnny B was asking, like, do you look at gun videos? And I was like, listen, with everything going on, I'll drive myself nuts if I look at gun videos. But I do, especially when a bunch of people are like, oh, you got to check out this video. So that happened with this video today that people were like, oh, did you see this? What do you think about this? So you guys both got a chance to look at the 5 guns here?
Yeah.
I did not. I didn't have time today before the show.
Oh, okay, so Richard is going to lead us. Tell us the guns, Richard, that he came up with. You want to start from number 5?
Oh, God.
I thought you wrote it down. You had
I wrote what I thought should be.
You wrote your 5 guns down.
Yeah. all the stuff he had was all brand new stuff.
No, he was going through most of the guns I never heard of. So number 1 on that list was the Daewoo, which is why I guess I was getting it. I was getting this video a lot because I have that gun.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's go your route. Let's go your route, Richard. If you could think of right now 5 guns, and we'll give Joe a chance to think about this. 5 guns that, kind of like disappeared, they aren't out there anymore, but you would like to see them come back and maybe be improved. Go ahead. Hit us with your list, if that's what your list is.
And the problem with that is, like, Colt came out with the Python again.
Okay.
And they totally screwed the pooch.
Yeah, don't come out with something that people will love and make it worse.
We are more advanced in manufacturing than before.
Right.
They made the original Pythons on manual equipment.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason we can't make them on CNC equipment and make them every bit as good.
You know what? I want to agree with you on that, but here's the problem. You're right. We do have better technology, technically. You know what we don't have anymore? Craftsmanship.
Yeah.
We
got a bunch of jerk-offs who can push a button.
Yeah, we kind of don't have that anymore.
I'm a machinist. I can push a button, So a lot of these guns that I'm thinking, I'd like to see them come out with that again.
Yeah.
I know that they're just going to screw it up and it's going to be a piece of crap.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, that's my brother-in-law, Hector Lopez 32, in the chat. That's literally my brother-in-law in New York City. I thought I knew him. I could tell from the comments. I was like, wait a second. So that's my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. They're in New York City. I hope you guys are doing okay. I love you. So shout out to my family in New York City right now. Okay, so the Colt Python got messed up. You're mad about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love the Python.
Do you have a Python?
No, I've had to sell every one I've gotten. And now I can't.
That's your fault.
Yeah, that is my fault.
Yeah. It's good. Listen, that's a good thing, right? For the guys who have Pythons, they don't necessarily want to see a better one come out.
No, they don't.
No. So, okay, what's your other stuff?
I would say right now, probably one of the smartest guns to come out with would be a Winchester 52. Probably, what is it? The D was the last model.
Okay.
Because 22 bolt guns are hot right now with all this long range 22 shooting.
Okay. Interesting.
Colt Woodsman.
Okay.
Love
come out. I love that one.
Let's see.
Colt, what's the Woodsman? What was the Woodsman? You're gonna have to refresh my memory on these guns. These are obscure. If they're not made of polymer, I'm not gonna know what is happening.
Woodsman is a 22 semi-auto pistol.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. The other one, which I always have loved, is Protector Palm Pistol.
Protector Palm?
It's that little round thing that goes in your hand and the barrel sticks out between your two fingers and you squeeze it.
Okay, it's like okay, I get it. Okay.
And the inside...
everything on your list is 22, Richard, seriously.
That was a 32.
Yeah, okay, that's 32. All right. What else you got? Is that your list?
That's my list.
Okay.
They need to do away with the 34 Gun Control Act so we can have all that stuff back.
I agree with you. Good luck with that, though.
Good luck with that.
Unless we have a reset, which, who knows how that's turning out.
Love to see somebody make a good reproduction of the STG-44.
That was my number one
on your list
right there.
Yeah,
and the ammunition for it.
Aren't those dudes working on that? Aren't what's the name of the guys? Is it Hill and Mac?
20 years. Primi Partisan has the ammunition, and it's not bad. They make it once a year.
Okay.
For the siege.
Okay.
See, what are some of the other interesting ones? Why
don't you think about it? Let's get in from Joe. And by the way, while we're switching over there to Joe, Kathleen Music Lover says, "We love you too, Hank." I love you too, Kathleen Music Lover, and everyone out there. I spread love to all the people in the world.
Look, you stop spreading your love my way.
To you especially, Richard. To you especially. And to you, Joe. To all the people out there. All the folks out there. Joe, what do you have anything? So because obviously this is a question Richard has been waiting to answer. He's got lots of shots to take on this one.
I got lots on there.
What's in your...
I think the Colt Woodsman was a brilliant idea. I don't have one. I've shot a couple. The most memorable one I shot was I got to shoot 22 Plinksters Colt Woodsman, and man, that is an awesome handgun. At the top of my list was going to be the STG-44 for sure.
We came close to getting these, right? Or are we still close, or is that a dead story now that we're going to get these?
I don't know what Hill and Mac are up to right now. I know I saw them and I ran into them. It was either 2 or 3 years ago, and they had a good working prototype model that was functioning very well, and then they just kind of dropped off my radar. I'm not sure exactly what happened. They're up in Michigan, I want to say. They're not. I don't think they're terribly far from me.
Yeah, but I think they're having some kind of issues.
That dropped off my radar, and yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I know Walter's waiting on that.
Since we're talking kind of the subgun guy, other things that are just cool that are just I would love to have some originals of, and get rid of the at a minimum get rid of the Reagan ban.
Okay, you guys are going to laws now. You guys are going deep.
Yeah. Things like the PPSH 41, Sten. Those are just really cool guns. There's so much history with a lot of that stuff that's out there. Being able to just get guns in their original configuration with their original barrel lengths, original stocks, or whatever the case may be on them. Those are, man, that's the stuff that I really like. I mean, I love a lot of this modern stuff. Here's something I would like to see get brought back that'll work, and I have no idea what's going on now that now that Freedom Group, Remington, whatever, has shut down, like Bushmaster, for example, an actual good model of the Bushmaster ACR. So I have an ACR that's a few years old, that's been nothing but wonderful. At the same time, from about last year, there were some reports that at least some of the ACR pistols that were out were having some issues. So I would love to see an ACR, Magpul Masada, whatever that fits the bill, has all the different caliber changes it should. That's something that I think just kept falling through the cracks. And part of it was Bushmaster kept getting reacquired. They kept getting their factory moved, stuff like that. But now, I don't know. That's something that really depresses me, because the ACR is such a cool weapon, and in my opinion, the potential is there, and at least the ones that were made properly, superior to the SCAR by far, in my opinion. At least the 5.56 to 5.56 anyway.
Yeah. By the way, Joe, Walter is inviting you to come down to Florida for some PPSH action. He's got a really nice one.
Yeah,
I see that. I've seen him out on the hacienda with some of your videos.
Yeah,
I 100%. I'm going to take you up on that the next time I can get down.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Huh?
Let me know, because I'll bring out the STG and Uzis and whatever the hell else I got sitting around.
Yeah. We should probably make plans to do something at like Aries. Do a nice little thing at Aries or something like that, so some other people can at least come hang out and see stuff. Maybe we do something for like a charity or something like that. Maybe we try to get toys for the kids or something like that. And do
money for BWE.
Money. Okay.
It's a really good charity.
If that's what it takes. So I'm just going to go into this because, you know what I'm going to say, right? Boom. EM2. EM2 rifles, what we need in America, people. I need to be able to put one of these in my collection. So basically, I'm just going to be all the bullpups that never came to America or that I missed out on a chance of buying. This is what we need. This is what we need in the world right now. Okay? Bullpups. All right? Maybe some companies out there who want to do something different, think outside of the box. Maybe you make some of these. The EM2, come on, someone could clone that, right? There has to be. Okay, no one's saying anything. So. No one's talking here.
Maybe.
Okay, Joe, I know at least you're into bullpups. I can't be, it's not just me here.
I love bullpups, and
don't grab anything.
Video. I'm not going to grab it, but the lighting here is off. But
okay,
there's
see.
My
PS90.
There's one of my favorite bullpups, the PS90 up there. And I've got Tavors, and I love bullpups. I would have an AUG. I really want one, but the opportunity to pick one up reasonably priced just is every time I'm about to, it slips my grasp, and I wind up getting something else.
Yeah, you got to do it when you. I actually bought an AUG I think I bought an AUG more than a year ago. Really nice AUG, man. I've never even fired it. It's been so busy. It's been so crazy, but I always wanted one, so I got one.
Yeah.
And it's sitting there. I'm like, this is a travesty.
So you should give it to Joe, and then he can shoot it.
Oh, I will happily lend it to Joe.
No, give it to him.
No. I'm not giving up my bullpups.
I like where Richard's mind's at. I like that.
Yeah. I'm not giving up the bullpups, man. That's just not happening.
I'm more than happy to give away your guns, Hank.
Oh, I bet you are.
I tell you,
absolutely.
I'll just hand them out like candy.
Night Train says I should relocate to Israel. I'll be in bullpup heaven. I've got the Tavor. I've got an X95. I even have an AK-74 bullpup, man, from Century Arms. People are always trying to get that from me. So, no, I just need an EM2, damn it. Walter, Safety Harbor Firearms should make these. Okay? Walter, I know you're listening. Don't even try to act like you're not listening. You need to start making these guns. Okay? The people are demanding it, and that's me and Joe. Right, Joe? You would buy one. Right? Okay, he's not actually. He's nodding his head, but
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, look,
I'd seriously consider it.
Okay, Atomic Bulls says, "Damn, that would be cool." There you go. But you know,
I like that suggestion of True Dragonov. That would be nice.
Oh, that's what. Okay, that's what. A True Dragonov. Okay. Yeah. What other guns are we like that we could? Well, you know what? The AA-12 is cool, but apparently you can't have those in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have those anymore. Speaking of bullpups, did you ever get a chance? I can't remember. Did you ever get a chance when we were talking last? I think I had the TS-12 shotgun, the IWI Bullpup 12 gauge shotgun. Did you get a chance to check one of those out and shoot one?
No, I've checked them out. I've never had a chance to shoot one. No, I would love to get my hands on one of those, and I really like to see. I've handled it and everything. Seems really cool, but I was never able to get my hands on one. And it's not so easy to communicate with, for me at least, with whoever's doing that kind of stuff on the IWI side. So at this point, I'm either looking to buy one or borrow one from someone. And Walter wants to know what he's making. You're making an EM2, Walter. Look it up. There you go. And Yul Adams says the only Bullpup is the GM6 Lynx. Okay, wait a second. I'm going to have to refresh my memory on this GM6.
Is that on another name? Is that the Australian Bullpup, the named Atrax? Is that what the GM6 was before? Trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
And Atrax went out in the 70s.
Atrax.
It has been out. Atrax.
Oh, I think, okay. That's the 50. Is that the 50? Is that the Bullpup that was a 50? There was a guy in Australia that was making a 50 BMG Bullpup. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
Not
50 BMG Bullpup. That sounds cool.
That list starting price on that is $14,999.
Okay, $14.
Oh, you get a special. You get a special. Yeah, you get a special pre-order discount though, 35% off, which makes it $9,554, and that's without the deployment. That's without the $1,500 deployment backpack or magazines, which run $375 each. You can get them down to $350 a pop if you buy two at one time though. That's yeah, no. That's
Walter, you need to make a Bullpup. Let's put it that way.
Hard no.
Yeah,
hard no. Anybody charging $350 for a freaking magazine, go fly a kite, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I think I met a guy. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. I don't know if I have his name in my phone. I met an Australian guy that was working on a 50 Bullpup, but I can't remember. And I probably didn't save his name in my phone with 50 Bullpup. Let me see. I'll search that. See if no. There was a guy that I met, and his name was like Chris Christensen or something like that, or John something. I just remember he had like this weird name that was first names, and he had two of them, and they were the same exact name. And I was like, this is like the Twilight Zone. But he said that he was from Australia, and he was working on a 50 BMG Bullpup gun. Man, someone out there has to know who I'm talking about. So let me know. John Voorhees says they need to make an AK Bullpup. Yeah, I already have an AK Bullpup. Century Arms did that for a little while. I guess that was technically a kit, but Century Arms was putting it all together. Do you remember that one, Richard?
What's that?
When Century Arms had the AK Bullpup?
No, I tend not to look at Century Arms stuff. You got a 50-50 shot if it works or not.
Yeah.
And I just got more important things to do than messing with them.
Yeah. Let's see. Richard Monder says that he sent you an email, so check that out. And American Freedom Outdoors wants to know if I have a Tavor 7. No. There's been a bunch of Bullpups that have come out that I have not gotten lately. So, The last one I got was the high standard, which Richard was talking to me about here before. I got a high standard Model B. That's basically
I was going to say, how do you like that?
Haven't shot it yet. So, just haven't gotten around to it. There's been so many other things. I need to do like a big Bullpup video, so...
You need to stop buying guns if you're not going to shoot them.
Oh, I'm going to shoot them. It's just taking a little bit of time.
I've heard that before, too.
This whole coronavirus thing hit, and there's been a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But I have
all you got to do is walk out your back door.
Yeah, but there's so many other things that keep coming in that I have to do this thing, then I have to do this thing, then I have to do this thing. So there's always stuff coming in, but yeah, I need to get out there and get into it. Okay, you guys want to see something really cool here? Have you ever heard of Target Factory? You guys ever heard of Target Factory?
I believe so.
You believe so?
I don't think I have, no.
Yeah, so they make these. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull up Target Factory here on... they make... So have you ever seen like the hard plastic bottles that you can string them up like different things and shoot at them? And they're almost pretty much indestructible. So that's Target Factory. Let me see. I'm going to pull their website up here and show you guys their stuff. The website's taking a little bit. Okay, here we go. So here's their website. If you look at Target Factory, I've shot, like, they've got this sawhorse kind of thing here. That's what this one is. That I've had one of these on the, let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. Oh, okay, that's too big. But basically here, let me see if I could just skip along in this. So you see these, people have seen me shooting these kinds of things on the Hacienda, right? So that's Target Factory, and then here in this video, they've got these things called the flipper spin targets that you also hang up and you shoot at them and they spin around and all that kind of good stuff. So what they did recently was they sent these to me. So I've got them here. I forgot to take them out. Just wait a second while I whip this out. That's a line. You guys probably don't even know where that line comes from.
I don't want to see you whip it out.
So here we go. They sent these to me, and so I'm going to put these on the range. And basically, you hang these up, and when you shoot them, they spin around and they do all kinds of stuff. Makes it fun. So we're gonna link these up. They also have bottles. They have like bowling pins, and lots of other cool stuff that you could shoot at. And this stuff is pretty indestructible. We shoot these with all kinds of different rounds, and they're just, they're really solid. So Target Factory is where you guys will get this. You're getting like a little bit of a preview right now because I just got these, so I've got to like actually get them together and make a video. So you just reminded me of that when you were asking about, Now those are a lot harder than my balls, just like in case anyone is curious.
Hey-o.
But I mean, I'm talking about the bag, like these are for play.
Your bag of balls.
Yeah, this is.
Now he's talking about his damn sack.
Yeah, this is.
Nobody cares, Hank.
This is for like a, this is what you see in the bouncy houses or whatever, or you go to the McDonald's, that nasty playground that you should never let your kid go into ever, especially not with the coronavirus going around.
I'm assuming those are going to be now closed post COVID-19 indefinitely.
I'm telling you, burn it down.
I remember those things as a kid. Those things were so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a memory of being like 5 or 6 years old I don't think it was a Chuck E. Cheese. What were those other things with the big bear? Remember the bear? Showbiz. Something like Showbiz.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It's like a Chuck E. Cheese, but instead of the big rat, it had a bear. Showbiz, I think, was the bear's name, or maybe that was the name of the place.
Okay.
I don't remember. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I don't think I ever saw that. Yeah.
It was something like that. It was in Florida. It was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I know they had one there.
Walter should know this.
And I think they
one.
lost the big entertainment battle between them and Chuck E. Cheese. They lost.
Oh.
And the rat won.
Okay.
So.
Was it the Good News Bears, like in the movie, or?
No, I don't think they were associated with anything like on TV or movie-wise. I think it was just want to say it was called Showbiz or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Showbiz Pizza. Yes. Showbiz Pizza.
Okay, someone actually knows about this.
Yep. Mike S. Thank you, sir. I'm not crazy. Len Holt dropped it too. Yes. Was in
Mike
North
S.
Carolina. Adams. Yes. I'm not crazy. All right, good. All right, sorry.
Yeah,
Just
Mike S. also was saying
kid, was there a big scary bear? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Rona's got me stir crazy here. I don't know what's going on.
Yule Adams is saying it's how you build the immune system. You know what? This is where you used to let your kids play in the dirt so they build up that immunity system.
Yep.
You know? What happened to that? I guess we don't do that anymore.
Video game.
Let me know how those.
Huh? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say let me know how those target things turn out. Those were interesting. I'm always looking for something to keep. I can't tell you how many times I'm out there shooting and I'm just putting rounds through a gun. I've done my accuracy testing. I've done everything else, and I want to shoot at closer range, but I don't want to continue to dump all this steel cased, or not necessarily just steel case, but all this high velocity ammo into my steel targets one after another, especially if I'm shooting suppressed and and that loud ping is ringing out everywhere. I have to wear hearing protection just to shoot the steel sometimes. You know how it goes. Especially, if you're shooting tons like supersonic 9mm, even subsonic 9mm, you'll ring your ears eventually, shooting it, even if you're, 15, 20 yards away. So it would be nice to know something else is actually going to sit out there, stand up. It's not going to leave my range littered with crap.
Yeah, that's what I like. It's just fun too, It's just fun to flip it up and do something different. So let's see here. Okay, we got a couple of minutes. What should we go to here? Let me see if I've got any more stories. Here's a New York story in honor of my people that were in the chat here not too long ago from New York. Invaders with gold gun blade swipe $15K in Brooklyn armed robbery. So there you go, gold gun. So a Brooklyn man answered a knock on his door only to have a duo armed with a gold-colored gun and a razor blade push their way inside and slash him before stealing jewels and $15,000 in cash. Okay, you keep $15,000 in the house? That's pretty badass. You should have some guns in there.
Yeah.
She has some guns to protect that.
Yeah.
Was it a man with a golden gun?
I don't know.
Man.
The home invasion, it looks like the woman had it. The home invasion happened around 2 a.m. Wednesday on Stillwell Avenue in Coney Island. Oh, Coney Island. Once inside, the male robber slashed the victim with a large razor on his left hand, while a female home invader flashed a gold-colored gun and demanded cash, police sources say. I think that's like a thing to do now, like paint your gun gold. The pair of thieves then snatched $15,000 in cash from a bedroom drawer and an unknown amount of jewelry before taking off. And then the victim, who wasn't identified, was taken to NYU Langone Hospital and treated for a cut on his hand.
Where he ultimately died of COVID.
Yeah. Right. Or he got arrested for being a drug dealer and having $15,000 in cash in a drawer.
And then died of COVID.
And then died of COVID. Oh. Yeah, that's rough. Man, all right. First of all, having $15,000 in cash in your house, that's a good problem to have.
Right, but put it in a safe. Like spend. How about this? Yeah, spend about a couple $100. Put a nice
I don't know.
Safe.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with $15,000 in cash in the house. It's just not
in the bank,
because you can't insure that. You can't insure that in the. I looked very deeply because I own a couple of guns. And I looked very deeply at my, most of them were lost in that tragic boating accident of 2019, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it was the 7th year in a row there was a tragic boating accident. I'm seriously think this maybe if I have another accident.
Stop going on the water,
Joe. Maybe
Joe.
my last year boating.
Yeah.
I think this year it's going to be a COVID accident.
Yeah.
It could be.
They're going to die of COVID.
Yeah, my guns died of COVID in 2020.
So for those of you who don't know, this actually could be a good learning experience, especially if you own a decent amount of firearms or the value of them is high. Go through your home insurance policy, whatever insurance policy you have, if you don't have a separate rider for your firearms, and take a look at it. And most insurance policies cap the amount of money that they'll pay you for stolen firearms or lost firearms, be it fire, stolen, whatever the loss is. There's a cap for it, and every insurance company, every policy is different. So look at that, and then look into, if you don't getting supplemental coverage. Sometimes it's better to go with your insurance company, get it as a rider. Sometimes it's better to go through a separate insurance company and get it somewhere else. But it's important to make sure you have coverage in the event of, probably, you're not going to have all your guns stolen, more than likely. But, if your house burns down or something, you have a decent collection. It's definitely something worth looking into. So I don't know. There's my PSA tip of the day. There's me giving back to the community. Right.
Absolutely. I'm sure this dude in Coney Island would appreciate that next time around. When he's got, I mean, dude, you can, I think you can take up to $9,999 and put it in the bank, and they won't report you. I don't know if they changed that number, right?
I don't know either.
Two different banks.
Yeah.
But now they have structuring laws to where if you deposit X on this day and then X even if it's 31 days later, then the combined amount now equals 10,000. Basically, if you're putting any decent amount of cash in the bank, you're going to wind up getting reported in one way or another. It's such a draconian law and system meant more to control the people at this point than it is any alleged drug dealers. As we all know from all these major cartels and all these huge conglomerates doing business in the U.S., they all have ways to launder their money, and it's not the not Hugo Chavez, the dictator, but El Chapo, that guy. It's not like El Chapo's going down to your local, Bank of America, throwing up duffel bags full of money on the counter, right?
Yeah.
That's as ridiculous of the assertion is that we're going to need. They're trying, like here in Indiana, they're trying to pass a law where we need a prescription now to buy a pseudoephedrine over the counter. They already have it, so you can only buy basically a month's supply at a time, and you have to have your driver's license recorded, which most of the time it means scanned into their actual state database. That's not enough. Now we got to go get a prescription for it. And while I may be digressing on this, if you actually suffer from severe congestion, nothing works as well as pseudoephedrine. There's no other over-the-counter decongestant that works.
But meth
well.
or whatever has totally messed that up. Right? What is that used for? Is it used for meth or something?
Allegedly, not allegedly, you can. There's a way that you can cook it, so to speak, and actually make meth out of it. But it's a very ineffective way to do it, and you may have your really desperate meth head, preparing some, on a hot plate somewhere or something like that. But all these larger cartels and these organizations, they're not using over-the-counter pills to make their methamphetamines. They're just not doing it. It's the same idiotic idea politicians have about cop killer bullets. They've seen one too many Hollywood movies, and they're trying to pass laws onto law-abiding people who have no ill intent at all, and based upon what they saw in a movie, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I get riled up over that because up until about 4 or 5 years ago, I never got those types of congestion things. And living up here, the longer I've lived up here, when we have these seasonal changes up here, when you've got front lines that are constantly, if you look at a map where I live, basically the front line is always bouncing north and south. Basically, it's right over my house. It's always going north and south.
Yeah.
And in the spring and in the fall, I get insane amounts of just pressure build up in my head. The only thing that's going to get that works properly for me is just those tiny little red pills, the pseudoephedrine pills. And if you're just taking them like that, there's zero. The beautiful thing about it is there's zero side effects when you take them for decongestion. It's not like those other synthetics that they have in other alternatives. There's zero side effects. You don't get drowsy, you don't get sleepy, it doesn't wake you up, it just opens you, and it's amazing relief, and it happens within like 5 to 10 minutes of taking it, depending on how much food you have in your stomach. 5 to 10 minutes, it's like, it's amazing, it's awesome. And there's nothing, in my opinion, that works as well. And I know there's plenty of people who say, oh, well, you have this and that. It's like, if you really suffer from these when
Not
it
as
comes
good.
in, it's not even close.
Chemical
and the beautiful
science.
thing is, there's no I don't feel any side effects from it. I don't get sleepy. I don't get tired. I don't get awake. It just opens me up.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. Again,
Hector
sorry for the
Lopez
digression,
says, no, I understand. Hector Lopez says, what happened to boiling orange peels and inhaling it? You ever tried that one?
I have no idea. I've never done that.
Yeah.
I've never tried that.
Yeah. You're going to have to.
I think he's thinking about that.
This is a video. You're going to have to do this one and try it and see what comes out of that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Things have gotten messed up by that, but that's how the world works here. So, there was another comment I wanted to get to here. Walther Arms says, I would have $15K in cash too if I lived in New York because I wouldn't have any of the guns I have now in Arizona. So there you go. If you have $15K in New York, by the way, here's my top tip to you for this episode. Take your $15K, get the hell out of New York City. Okay? Before you get jacked by a dude with a razor blade and a chick with a golden gun. Get out of New York City. They
couldn't even get it right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listen, we hit 9 o'clock. It happened kind of fast here. We were having what I think is a pretty good conversation. Let's do this. Let's tell the folks out here how they can keep up with you guys. We'll start with Richard of BWE. How can the folks out there keep up with you, Richard? Where are you posting stuff?
You can go to bwefirearms.com, buy lots of products. I need money, so buy lots of stuff.
Right on.
You can go to, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's all whatever variation they made me use of BWE firearms. If you just put in BWE firearms, I'll come up.
Okay.
You'll see my ugly puss there. So.
You're a handsome man. You're a handsome man. Okay, especially in the COVID apocalypse,
Hank, I don't want to be around you anymore. Keep talking about your sack and how handsome I am. I appreciate it, but I just don't go that way.
I'm trying to end on a positive note. I'm trying to end on a positive, upbeat note after we made people miserable for like an hour and a half. Yeah, we got to end on an upbeat. Okay, Joe, you're going to have to take it home here, man. How can the folks keep up with you? What you have going on?
Usually we're really upbeat when we have these conversations. I think we had a really good, lively conversation tonight. But this was a departure from the norm normally when I'm on. But, it was good. Honestly, for me, it was good to vent. Yeah. I haven't really vented to anyone in a while. So,
I figured.
I really enjoyed it.
I feel the same way.
I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the comments as well there. John, I responded to you, your comment there. It's just Joe at 13cgunreviews.com if you want to get a hold of me, or anybody else. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/gunreviews. On Instagram, we're at 13C Gun Reviews. We don't do a whole lot on Twitter, but we do a little bit there, so we're 13C Gun Reviews. YouTube, of course, for as long as they'll let us. Full 30, Gunstreamer. 13cgunreviews.com is a good place to find all the links to get around. Our Patreon's still up and going. If you're interested in that, we still do we've got our channel shirts. You can find a link to those as well there. If you use the code 7613C, you'll get 15% off. Not just this, but everything on that site. For the shirts, this is one of them. We have the other regular channel shirt logo as well. And then, of course, we've got all our various swag if you're interested in picking up patches. If you're looking for some fight soap, we still have. I found another box down in the basement.
Wow.
They're out of business, but I did find one more box.
Have fight soap? Damn.
I did. So, initially I set aside a total of 100 bars for myself.
Okay.
So I think I got like
these are collectors
bars for myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, these are collectors items now.
They are, but I still use them. That's my daily go-to for the shower. I don't know what's gonna happen when I run out of them, but I've got those set aside still that I'm using. But I found another box of I think there's like 25 of each in there. So they're pretty cool soaps. If you were into fight soap, there are custom design.
Just rebrand them into 13C soaps, man. That's what I would do.
I should take. take away the fight soap thing. So I know there were some people who got burned by that, including me. I was one of the people who got burned in that transition. But at least I do still have some soap left, so there's that. But hopefully that guy's doing well, and things worked out with him and his situation where it just deteriorated. But whatever that is, so like, share, subscribe. Be my content, Hank's content. That's the best way in this era of social media shadow banning to help us out. Share anything you can. Sign up for Hank's newsletter if you're interested in signing up for my newsletter. 13cgunreviews.com. You'll see it on the side there. Sign up for that as well. And I don't know, that probably covers it. Check out the new video that just dropped here on that Liberty Constitution. We'll have the Zion 15 up soon. And we've got other stuff as well. Blackhawk T-Series holster is going to be coming up. We're finally going to do a video on the Streamlight TLR 1HL just because we've done other videos on other lights and people are like, whoa, well, it's coming. It's one of those things where, it's a staple, right? It's like me going back and doing a review on, like a Aimpoint T1 right now, right? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a good standard bearing light that's tried and true, but I'll have to find some way to make it new and fresh so that people actually want to watch it.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things. You take something that's old and, or not old, but, at least isn't fresh, and I don't know, but
make a video how to adapt your Streamlight to a UV light to save you from the COVID-19.
From the COVID. I like it.
That's the way to do it. All right, listen. Okay, I want to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone here hanging out with us in the chat for being here. Shout out to my peeps that are out there. Good to hear from them. Shout out, I love all the people that are out there, so I really appreciate you guys. Of course, I appreciate Joe from 13C Gun Reviews. You guys need to go support Joe as well as Richard of BWE Firearms. Go support him on all the different platforms that he's on. These are great guys. Thanks to Walther for sponsoring the show. Let me drop the end on it here. By the way, guys, go to hankstrange.com. Sign up for the email list. You can find, we're going to put this up on audio. It's going to be on iTunes and other places. And, of course, make sure you subscribe. Leave comments and ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Final words. Who's got the final words here? No one? No one's got the final words.
Have a great night. Stay safe. Don't panic.
Absolutely.
Do not panic.
Yes. We'll get through all things.
No matter what the government throws at us, the American people have always been able to overcome it, and it's going to be no different this time. We will succeed despite the best efforts of government to hold us down.
Amen.
Yes, we
Can't
will.
say it better. Amen. We're out of here. Peace.